Hello, YouTube land. Let me get everything situated with, I got to start off with a smile. I got to get everything, ooh, let's take that out. Everything situated on my other platforms as well. So here we go. I got to start off with a smile. I usually come on Tuesdays. Excuse me. But hey, things change, life change. You got to make some changes. So here I am today. It's Real Estate Monday instead of Tuesday. I know it's usually Market Mondays for a lot of people who watch the, Earn Your Leisure podcast. I'll be watching that later on after I get off of here. But, sometimes you got to shift your schedule. So I'm here for a Real Estate Monday instead of Real Estate Tuesday. So hello, happy magnificent, marvelous, motivational Monday. It's a great day to have a great day. Glad to be here as always. My name is Toria Howard. I am an educator, first and foremost, but I am a real estate agent here in the beautiful city of Detroit and the surrounding areas. So, hey, friend. So, I am here to talk about lenders, how to handle rejection from a lender and still buy your first home. So, a lot of times, people are afraid of rejection. That's just a part of being human. So if you're afraid of rejection, a lot of times you are fearful of applying or doing certain things or talking to someone or whatever the case may be. So I'm showing you how to not be afraid, even if you are getting denied. So that's what we're talking about today. So I'm a real estate professional plus a financial literacy educator, and I am targeting especially first time home buyers in the Detroit area, but all across the United States because there's so much money out here to purchase the homes, and a lot of the limits have went down as far as requirements. FHA requirements have dropped because they really want people to buy homes, y'all. The myth is out there that don't buy homes or buy a home, but it's so much money out there. Detroit is giving away up to $25,000 to help you buy a home. The state of Michigan is giving away first generational home buyer loans. Grants up to $25,000 as well. You still have MISHDA, which is $10,000. I have a great program from a Black-owned, woman-owned bank out in Texas who is helping people buy homes with a 600 credit score. Okay, and just 2 years of employment history and a 56% DTI, which is debt to income ratio. So it's so much easier now. So let's talk about the denial. So have you ever been denied by a lender and felt like your dream of owning a home was dead? It was over. Let me know in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. This is a safe space. I listen, I don't judge. I'm here to teach you how to not get rejected. And if you do, here are some things that you can do to not get that turn a denial into an approval. So rejection is like a slap in the face, right? But it's actually feedback in disguise. You have to look at it as feedback in disguise instead of looking at it as a setback. Okay, it's only a setback for your comeback, right? So, hi, Nisa. Hi, Affluent Beauty and Spa. Appreciate y'all. So, you can't look at it as, you got to look at it as feedback to see what you need to do. So, tonight I'm going to break down how to bounce back smarter and stronger using financial literacy strategies, right? So, understanding the why behind your rejection. A lot of times we get in our feelings because the rejection hurts. Have you ever tried to, ladies, if you ever tried to shoot your shot? I know they tell us not to, but maybe you tried to shoot your shot to a guy or whatever, and you're fearful of rejection, men are afraid of rejection. But a lot of times, I'm amazing, Nisa. A lot of times, people are fearful of rejection in a whole lot of ways. They'll go ask for that promotion, won't ask for the raise, they won't ask, but people are just scared of the ask. People are scared of the ask. So don't just accept a denial. Ask the lender specific questions. So, for example, I had a client whose credit score was just 10 points too low. And we made a 45-day plan to pay off 2 cards and got approved the second time around. So you want to know exactly what are you being denied for and the reason why, so you can go, because it might be a simple thing. Just like me, when I purchased my home back in 2010, I was at the closing table, signed my documents, I had to walk out the door with my keys, and I almost got stopped because a collection came up at the end. When I'm about to walk out the door, they no, it's so fast. Got a collection from Chase. So sometimes things pop up that you don't even realize, or there's things that you know that you can handle right then and there. Hi, Nisa. So it might be something simple. So always ask the questions of what are the specific reasons you were denied. Excuse me. And also request a copy of your denial letter and review your credit report. So, look at both of them, see which one, see what's on there, see what you need to do, and speak with a financial advisor on how to structure this better. Or if the lender is more knowledgeable enough to help you in a way, sometimes lenders hinder you. So then, but you got to ask the right questions. So if you ask the right questions, like, what do I need to do in order to get the approval? And if they give you something, to ask them how this is going to affect my credit report, my score, all of these different things. So sometimes the lenders give bad advice because a lot of them are not financially literate either. A lot of real estate agents are not financially literate. A lot of different people are not financially literate in these spaces. Just because they have the power to say yay or nay doesn't mean they have all the answers. So you need to make sure that you're consulting with the right person. Once you get that denial letter and you look at your credit report, go and speak to someone that can help you. If that lender can't help you, and if that lender can't help you, go find somebody else that can. So the second point is use financial literacy to create your comeback plan. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. A lot of people miss that step. The financial literacy piece is key. The financial literacy piece is the sure win way for you to get back in, and it's also how to get in and also to stay in. So use this rejection as your blueprint. Time to be strategic with your money at this point. So if your debt to income ratio was the issue, that could mean paying off a $500 credit card, or increasing your income by picking up a side gig or a small adjustment, or to make a big impact. Or you might be missing out on calling your credit card companies and getting a credit line increase. How many people are scared to ask their credit card companies for a credit line increase? They work for you. So if you've been paying on time, you don't have any late payments, and you've been paying your balances off, and you've been, consistent, and you haven't received a credit line increase for a while, call them. Don't be scared of that rejection. They work for you. They're supposed to have that, right? Um, so budgeting apps, credit monitoring service, and home buyer checklists, like the things that I have in my first time home buyer guide, will help you to understand what you would need to do. So typically you would need at least 4 trade lines. What are trade lines? Those are credit lines on your credit report, which consist of revolving and installment. Uh, Revolving trade lines are your credit cards. Installments are like your car loan. If you can put your rent payments on there, which you can do to help boost your credit score. If you have a personal loan, a furniture bill, those are installment loans. Things that you pay in installment that's going to be paid off in a certain amount of time. Your credit card bills are revolving because you're constantly paying that, and there's no end date unless it's closed. And then even till then, you got to pay it off until you have to pay it until you pay it off. So it's so many different ways. You might need to just pay down a bill real quick, and that will change the trajectory of your denial or approval. So point number 3 is strengthen your application, credit, income, docs. So strengthen weak areas before reapplying. That builds confidence and buying power. So for example, I tell my clients all the time, you wouldn't show up to a job interview unprepared. So don't approach a lender without your receipts. So make sure that you have all that you need. Make sure, excuse me, Make sure you have the proper credit lines on there. Make you have the best mix of credit. Make sure that your debt to income ratio is down, and make sure that you might not, it might be a simple thing as not having enough savings. And you might be able to pull some money from, you know, check out your 401k and your retirement plans, because a lot of times you can pull from your retirement plans, your 401k plans, to help you buy your home, that you can put money into your savings account to have some money. You might have to wait, you might have to trickle it in from month to month, like it's, transferring it from your check to it's a little tricks of the trade, because they want to see that it's coming from your actual paycheck, not just lump sum. So you might have to just put it in your bank account and kind of filter it in there. It might take you, 2 to 3 months to do so. But there's ways that you can still come to the table prepared. Make sure that you know your credit report, know what's on there. Uh, Understand that collections, derogatories, charge-offs, late payments, bankruptcies are not really a big thing, as long as they have been discharged for a certain amount of time. You typically it's 2 years. But each lender has their own restrictions. You have a lender that I'm working with at Prime One Home Loans that doesn't care about derogatories. So you have to get with the right lender for your circumstances, because it's so much money out here for you to buy. So clean up your credit report. That's the biggest thing, because a lot of people typically miss out on. Hi, Travis. A lot of people typically miss out on that part by not cleaning up their credit report and not doing the things they're supposed to do with that. That is something that can help you as well by getting that approval. Steady job history. Now, lenders don't care if you are in the same industry and you're switching jobs, because sometimes you get paid more. So you're gonna switch it, look, they're not loyal. Why should you be? You go get a opportunity to get a better paying job. You might switch jobs or whatever. Or you might, if you have a jump in pay because maybe you got a better education or you got some certifications or something like that, you switch industries. As long as it's steady and not too rocky. So you can't go from being a waitress to a, a car salesman to a CNA to like going doing all this different stuff. It has to be steady. Proof of consistent income. So they want to see how often are you getting paid, and making sure that you're getting paid. Is it something that's coming in consistently and consecutively? So if you're a business owner, it's sometimes it's harder to prove your income, especially if your revenue is up and down, up and down. But as long as they see a steady stream, that's not a problem. So they want to see 2 to 3 months of your bank statements. So make sure you're not doing a lot of transferring, because if they see all these different accounts and transfers and different things, you're gonna have to do a lot of explanations and a lot of explaining to do. So you don't want to do all of that. Make sure that you have a separate account that you're going to use that has a track record of your spending, that doesn't have all these different transfers. Do that with another account. Give them another account, because they're going to ask, like, why is this money going here? Why is it going there? Why is this going here? And a lot of business owners have that problem too, because they're transferring money from their business account to their personal accounts and doing all these switching. So you have to streamline that so that you have a steady account that things are coming out of, and make sure that your bills are coming out of that account. Make sure that you having that surplus that's going in there every single month. And then saving plan for down payment and reserves. Now, there are so many different down payment assistance programs. You don't need, a lot of times, don't need the actual money to put down, but they want to see that you know how to save money, because this is your biggest asset that you are investing in. So they want to see that you can, you're disciplined with your money by saving it. So they want to see that nest egg. You don't have to come with 20% down, 3.5% down, especially if you're in Detroit and the surrounding areas, you're in Michigan. There's so much money out here to buy a home. So you don't necessarily need that. And then on top of that, you have a program like Prime Home Loans, where you are, uh, where they're still giving you the down payment and closing cost assistance with the 600 credit score and the 56% DTI and with a steady income. So there's so many different ways that you can skin a cat, as they say. So explore down payment assistant programs. That's point number 4. I just talked about it a little bit. So many buyers get denied because they think they need 20% down. That is so not true. There's so much money out here. Go get the money. It's allocated for you to buy a home. They're going to give it back to the government. You don't want to give it back to the government so they can go spend it on something else. Go get the money. So Detroit has up to $25,000. The state of Michigan has it up to $25,000. And Prime One Home Loans has their own separate down payment assistance and closing cost programs where you can come with zero to the table and be, you know, there's a negative, like not negative in but positive negative. You get what I'm saying? Whereas you don't owe anything. They might owe you a credit. So you have to understand that, you know, there's so many different programs out here, so many things that you can rely on to help you buy a home. I know. People say don't buy a home because it's too much maintenance. If you put the proper financial literacy in place, you can combat that part of it. If you say have your own savings, know how much things cost, and put that up and have that nest egg, you'll be okay. So, uh, the point number 5, my last point, is team up with the right realtor and financial coach. So don't go at it alone. Okay, your team should include a lender, a realtor, and a financial strategist. It might be all in one. You never know. But I'm a realtor and I'm a financial strategist. I'm a financial coach. I help people, you know, structure their finances so they can get into a home. I know what the financial literacy is. So you need to understand that, making sure that you have that financial literacy and the right people on your team, making sure you're asking the lender the right questions. Okay. How many loans have they approved? What are the programs do they have? Um, what is their response time? Because response time is so key and pivotal. I was working with a lender one time and it took him 2 weeks to respond to things. We almost lost our deal. So you need to make sure that you're working with the right people. And if you don't have a financial strategy, I can definitely help you do so. So I had a client who thought she needed a 700 plus credit score. She closed on her first home with a 620 score and use the down payment grants because we had a strategy. So you need to make sure that you understand there are strategies out here. You don't have to have a perfect credit score. Now, is your interest rate going to be higher? Absolutely. There's a way for you to combat that as well. I wish the pill method he would have stayed on here, but there's a way for you to combat that. All you have to do is your first 2 years, you have to be disciplined and pay an extra principal payment every month for like maybe even not even a year, maybe not even 2 years, but like for a year, and you're going to shave off time of your mortgage. And when you do that, your payment is going to go down. So yes, you have taxes, insurance, okay, principal and interest. Those are the 4 expenses that you will have. You know, PITI is what you're going to have. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance are what you're going to have to pay. Also negotiating your insurance as well. Knowing the cost of those things, understanding what's in your insurance plan, understanding your taxes. So you will be able to have a financial plan. The whole point is to be more financially literate so you can use your home as leverage as to what it turn your asset into a lot, turn your liability into an asset, because it's not an asset unless it's making money for you. So you have to learn how to turn it into that, but having a financial plan and having the right people on your team, having the right lender, having the right realtor, making sure that you're buying in the right areas that is going to appreciate in value, buying in areas that are up and coming where your equity is built in, where you can go in and fix up a home. People are afraid of renovations, but that's why you get with people who know great people. They're going to do great work, and you do your own research. I am coming out with a book that you can even, I have questions you can ask contractors, questions you can ask realtors, questions that you can ask the lender, questions you can ask your inspector, questions you can ask, you know, to any and everybody that's going to be a part of this process for you. Because of the fact that you have to be able, this is a team effort. And if everybody is not on board, then it's going to fail, but it starts with you. So I just want to say, comment ready if you are ready to bounce back from lender rejection. And if you haven't even tried and you want to know the process of purchasing a home, comment ready. I would love to speak with you. I would love to have a conversation with you to navigate this. You might not want to pick me. That's fine. You might find somebody else, but I want to make sure that I'm serving my purpose as the educating people about purchasing real estate and being financial literate while purchasing real estate. Please don't be like me. I was a homeowner for 10 years and I squandered my house away because I did not have the financial literacy. If I would have known what I know now, I would have never did the things that I did. So I'm teaching people how not to do that. Okay. I bought a home in 2010. I didn't really understand how the real estate market worked until after I basically gave away my house. So make sure you don't make that mistake because sometimes it can be overwhelming if you don't have a financial plan. And I have that plan for you. So, share this live if this helped you or you know it can help someone. Go back and watch it. I've dropped some gems in there that you can use. Follow me for weekly tips that I blend financial literacy and real estate and home ownership together. Um, you can go back and look at some of my content and, go back and just do some studying. You can go back and you look at some of my posts. I do post, and if you want a full book blueprint, grab my ebook Journey to Your Castle. It's your step-by-step guide to getting approved and getting your keys to your castle. So I have that blueprint written out for you at a nominal price. Not trying to get rich off of this, but I want you to be invested in a little bit. So make sure that you invest in yourself. It's only a cup of Starbucks coffee. Okay, give up your coffee to be on a journey to your castle. Right. So I bid you adieu, as they say in Shakespeare, and because I'm an English teacher, um, I love you, and definitely come back. Like I said, I was supposed to go live yesterday for tomorrow, but I'm here today because I got some things that came up, and I want to make sure that I get my education piece out to you, not out of the way, but out to you because I'm here to serve, and I'm here to do what God told me to do. So have an amazing day, night. It's a great night to have a great night. Girl, forehead is forehead.